Grand Rising, good afternoon, and good evening. Whatever time you click on this reading is the right time for you, and I thank you in advance for your viewership and support. So, baby, I don't know where you've been if you haven't heard about this, but it's been complete back and forth, constant miscommunications and misinformation when it comes to the motions and the responses from the AG of California, Rob Bonta, back to Unite the People, and the defense team of Daystar Peterson, better known to the rest of the world as Tory Lanez. So I want to tap into the energetic field around Crystal Morgan and Jose Baez. And I want to see, now that all of these motions have been updated and placed out in the public for everyone in the public domain to read, what's to come from here, what is to be expected. And angels, if you be so kind, please reiterate what is going to be the end of this situation. By all means, I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. Alrighty, let's get into some things. Alrighty. Anybody feel like time stamping this? Please time stamp it for the 2-minute mark. Thank you. Show me the energy around Tory Lanez defense attorneys. What's to be expected now that they have put out the updated information and we wait for the DA to respond so that they can go before the appellate court in November? So, first 2 cards out. Now, anyone who's been watching me do these readings, you know that the King of Swords represents a truth teller. If we're talking about someone that is an officer of the court or law enforcement, this is a just, lawful person if it's in the upright. Being that these cards came out with the King of Swords in the reverse with the Page of Cups in the upright, this is a person who's not in proper legal standing. This is a person who's being scrutinized for handling things inappropriately, and they are very apologetic. This person is sorry that they're being seen in this light. Okay? Before I go any further, this reading is for entertainment purposes only. All things said are alleged. Now, this person either looks or feels disgraced, or possibly both, because the energy that is coming out around them is very questionable right now. So the AG has to even be careful with the way that they respond to these claims, because these are very serious claims. And not only will they be held in consideration for the appellate court, these are things that can go before the Bar Association. Okay, so I see that, Tory's defense team, they're going to move through victoriously. 6 of Wands in the upright. And they're definitely, fighting an uphill battle, but this is like, they're strong. They're getting the job done. Very, very effective. in the way that they present the packaging for their defense strategies. Now you have the Three of Cups, which represents, you know, third party energy, gossip. This can represent like petty conversation about the defense and the way that they're handling this case. Third party communication when it comes to how people report on this case. So it's like the lawyers are not just defending Tory, they're also coming forward to release information to defend how they defend Tory. So we have a Five of Cups here. And the Five of Cups represents shame and regret. Explain the shame and regret, because there's a Two of Swords here at the bottom of the deck, okay? Okay, so they're going to have to dig into some information that's going to be very, very touchy and of a very carnal sexual nature. And it's going to possibly be very shameful for parties that are involved. Things that you definitely wouldn't want your family to hear or people that you work with. When it comes to you in a situation with a lover. So they're going to get more in depth into the sexual energy that tied everyone together in this case, because it's a huge part of the story that's not being discussed. Yes, we know people hooked up, but we need to understand how it went wrong. The hookup is definitely not the issue. It's the where things went left. Now, you've got the Ten of Cups here, which represents family. So, being that this is falling under this person who represents a officer of the law or a possible official of the court. Either way, this is a person that is of a high standing within law enforcement or the court. This person is really, really looking at, you know, when things come forward, they can be ostracized. Five of Pentacles. And they're possibly already apologizing to their family, trying to cushion the blow of what's about to come out, because this is just the beginning. Due to how things are outlined, the way that things are being aligned for the motions. This is going to be very hard for this person to kind of overlook this situation or to try to spin it, because it's very, very detailed in the way that it's described. Yeah, so this disgraced law official is looking at they could lose everything and how this can affect their family. And they just wanted to move on from this situation. This is all falling under the Six of Wands. They thought this was over. They wanted to move on from this situation. So, you know, we know who the prosecutors were. And there's only one that's still there in that vicinity that works in that department. And it feels like this hangman is falling on this person alone, because if you don't know, Kathy Ta no longer works for the same office. So now this person has to defend what they invested into this situation. And they hear the idle gossip, the chit chatter, things that are being said, what the internet is saying. Um, Also, this represents, in the beginning, everything was good. They had, proper standing. Everything, went by very swiftly. Eight of Swords, okay? Excuse me, Eight of Wands. My apologies. So everything went very swiftly. They wrapped this up, thought it was over. And it's like now to hear, the gossip, to look at the updates, to see what's being said in the internet. It's like it may start off as whispers, but it's turning into, the situation to where it goes from a couple of little waves and ripples into a tsunami. And this person is trying to brace themselves because they can't imagine what the conversation is going to be when the other shoe drops. And when the other shoe drops, it leads to this person being here in the Five of Cups with very, very hurt feelings, shame, remorse, regret, loss of integrity, loss of hope. I just shuffled, and here's that Hangman. Hangman comes out in the upright, and like I said, it falls under that Three of Cups, that third party influence. And the whole, we were in this together, and now it's just me here holding the bag. And I'm the one that everyone is going to be talking about, how this is going to affect me, how this is going to affect my family, how my life is going to be structured after this. Well, possibly won't have any structure because life as I know it will never be the same. So it's like now the fright, the pain, the humiliation, all the things that Tori went through before sentencing, it's like that energy is coming in like a roll tide for other people. Funny enough, I mentioned Tori. Look what's at the bottom of the deck. King of Wands, the fire sign. So here it is, the Justice card falling in the upright. And that Justice card falls right up under the Five of Cups. The shame, the remorse, the regret. So it's like this is karma. This is karmic justice that, is playing into this situation. And now it's like, you remember, what's the adage? Laugh now, cry later. So here it is. Like I said, we were all in this together. We had a win. We celebrated. It was good for all of us. And then boom, here's the Hangman. And I'm left by myself to face this shame alone. Now that I have to face justice over secret energy, the moon. Okay, so we're going to say allegedly, this is the energy around Alexander Botts, because Kathy Todd no longer works in that office anymore. So now when this goes back, he has to go back to court by himself, or he has to get a co-counsel, a DA that works under him to join him. So now he's in Kathy Todd's position, and it's like, do you bring somebody else in the fold and throw them under the bus the way that Kathy threw you under the bus? Or do you just ride this out and face this alone and prove your case? Either way, forward movement and expansion. Everything is moving forward at a rapid pace. There's nothing that you can do about it. Here we go. Now we've got the Messenger here, which is the Knight of Swords. So it's like messages are coming very, very, very fast. So, when we think about the motions are going through extremely fast. It's like they're getting processed quicker than normal, and it's not really giving the time to sit around and wait it out and have time to think and to strategize. So you've got King of Pentacles. Hold on. You got the King of Pentacles here, which just came out, and then the Queen of Swords. So this King of Pentacles, someone who invested in this situation, he's thinking about, how allegedly how Kathy convinced him to come into this situation because, he's stable and grounded, someone that can be counted on, someone, who's solid. And then here it is. He's the one that has to face this decision because the Lovers also represents choice and decision. So it's like it's a lot on Alexander Bott's mind right now. Okay, what is this that came face down? So he's trying to figure out what to do because here it is. This came out in the upright, Temperance. But at the bottom of the deck, you have the King of Wands. King of Wands represents fire signs, which would be Tauri. So it's like Tauri really has a chance at having balance through a new beginning. And this is something that he didn't expect, something that he didn't think was going to happen. And it's like, man, how do I handle this? Especially when I got to figure out what to do and how to maneuver by myself. So what this feels like is that a lot of this case was run by Kathy. She was running point, making the decisions, and all he had to do was run the play. So he was under her tutelage, following her direction, and it feels like she led him into this. And then when it was over, she got the hell out of Dodge and left him holding the bag. He didn't realize that he would possibly be left holding the bag until a moment like this came when Tauri decided to contest the decision. So it feels like he never had it in mind that that was a thing, that this was something to consider, that Tauri would possibly contest the decision. So it's very interesting to when you think about it, is that this is a man who possibly came in just as co-counsel. He was supposed to assist. He was supposed to be, strong in assisting the person who decided to actually take this case up. And then that person got what they needed to get out of this and left him, unbeknownst to him, if it ever blew up, if there were ever any questions asked, because the person who convinced him to be a part of this is no longer there. It's all for him to explain now. And remember, here it is. I just showed you her at the bottom of the deck. We shuffle, and it's like, here it is. The defense, what was invested into this by the female counsel, who happier times, who you were jovial with, the person that you joined in co-counsel once again. It's like when we go back here, see how everybody is celebrating all these cups, and now it's a hangman because he has to be the one to be in control of the situation, the emperor. So, alrighty, let me make sure I'm careful how I show this. So you got the star here, which represents an air sign, right? Can be seen as, Aquarius, because that is the card of the Aquarius. So this he now realizes what he was offered. Excuse me. This is what was at the bottom of the deck. The Knight of Cups. What he was offered that was attached to this star. And here it is. The King of Wands, falling under justice, and the Five of Cups. Y'all, this man is clutching his imaginary pearls. He don't know what to do. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm the one standing here left to hold the bag, and it's coming at me fast. Even, you know, the defense team, it's like they're aggressive. They're every time I look up, there's a new update. So it's like the defense team is they're very effective and thorough, but they're moving faster than expected. And it's like the both of them working together are a great duo. They're a great team. They have really, really great chemistry with the way that they work. And it feels like, you know, the DA didn't expect this to be a good opportunity for Tori's team, that this would turn into a good thing for them, that their ships will start coming in. So you've got the Emperor here, Ace of Pentacles. So, yeah, I told y'all over a year ago that, you know, they were possibly going to be investigating for collusion, corruption, things of that nature. The Now That He's Been Convicted reading that I did for Tory Lanez, I mentioned that all of this stuff will be happening right now. So it looks like there's even more evidence that is to come, more things that haven't been discussed. They have a lot of bombshells. That's all I can say. It feels like the defense team has a lot of bombshells. They have a lot going on that the DA did not expect them to get their hands on, but they asked the right questions, they put in the right motions, and this just amazes me how blown out the water the DA is. So, you know, everything was at rest, right? Until this message came in. So, you know, you got the Four of Wands, Four of Swords. You have to know that that doesn't mean that a situation is over. It's at rest, it's at stasis. So, I think this is the surprising part for the DA, is because, remember, I said he thought this was over. And then when the motion started to come through, and the motion started to actually be, you know, approved. Sorry about the heat, y'all. Yeah, the motion started to be approved. It was just like, okay, this is a real thing. This isn't, you know, a joke. Like, the only word I can get for it is surreal. Okay? And it's like a lot has been invested in this situation, a lot of work, you know, a lot. It's like he feels like he invested a lot into his work, and, you know, his wish fulfillment is to take care of his loved ones, and everything is flashing before his eyes. And you see this Ten of Wands. It's like heavy burdens. And it keeps going back to the energy of, I was brought on to help with this case and I got left holding the bag. That's what it feels like. It keeps popping up over and over again. The energy feels very heavy for the DA, because it's like, how did I get left in this position? So remember, that Six of Pentacles, Seven of Swords, money under the table, or, equal exchange that may have helped to create a more beneficial environment through underhanded means. That's already been challenged. And remember, there's been claims of, money that was offered to cover things up. So now, yeah, when I tell you this is about to get very, very interesting, it's gonna get messy. It's gonna get salacious. And the reason why it hadn't went there in all this time is because Tori didn't want to hurt anybody. Okay? Tori has, more than anything, been trying to keep stuff under the radar, keep stuff respectable for everybody, but he's got to finally think about himself. So here it is. You got the Ten of Wands, these burdens, and this falling under the star right next to the Queen of Swords. That's a lot of heavy burdens for an air sign female, okay? There's a lot of feelings, okay? A lot of feelings, y'all. People are clutching their chest right now because nothing was expected to make it this far, especially not to a higher court, to make it to the possible appellate court. This is, I see like pins and needles where everybody has nerve. Nerves are bothering them. And you got the Death card here to the Three of Wands. This is a major concern because it's like, if there is any type of justice to come to Tori, it kills opportunities for other people. And now these other people are worried about losing their money, losing stability, losing marketability, losing credibility. So you've got the Queen of Pentacles here. And it feels like the cornerstone, the pinnacle of this defense team that's really coming in fast for the win is Crystal Morgan. Tell me why Crystal is one to watch. Because she's pushing hard to help manifest these opportunities. Tell me more about Crystal Morgan. So it's like, here we go. It's like they're both bouncing off of each other. They're considering every single option possible when it comes to showing how Tori's been portrayed. So it's like they're doing a lot of research. They're researching every single possible clause that could possibly alienate or separate, Tori from justice, anything that could possibly be considered a miscarriage of justice in this case. And they are really, not just, it's not like they're taking things and throwing them against the wall to see what sticks. They really are doing the research to see what fits. And it feels like, allegedly, This is what's going to bring an end to a cycle to some very reputable people who, up until this point, have been considered respectable. So I expect, and I said this, like I said this over a year ago, that there was going to be corruption found. We're looking at the corruption now that's found. This is getting closer and closer and closer to people losing their bar license, people not being able to practice law for an extended amount of time, if not indefinitely. This is not now. It's like, to hear that out loud is, and to see this 10 of Wands here. 10 of Wands is like super heavy burdens, like burdens so heavy that you feel like you can't even carry them. You can't make it. So to see that energy around the DA is like the DA has to be poised before the public, right? Has to give a solid persona before the public, because, as a DA, you can't really come off soft. But this is somebody who appears to be very, very mindful and nervous at the same time about what's to come, because this was never expected to make it past the decision that happened the day that he got convicted. It was all supposed to be over. It's like this was just another regular day at court. That's the way this was supposed to go. Yeah. And he knows this DA, if you're seen as a maleficent individual, it's going to slow down your money, because who's going to trust a DA that can't be considered honorable? Like you hold the balance of controlling the future of people's lives, good, bad, and indifferent. So to be able to prosecute people, you have to be in all moral high standing. So, speaking of prosecutors, it's like Archangel Metatron is the one who holds the book of life. And when you perish, Archangel Metatron is the one that reads the book of life and lets you know, of all of the good and the bad deeds that you've done in your life, and allows you safe passage into the higher realm, or lets you know that you have to come back down. Okay? So a prosecutor's job is supposed to be similar to Metatron, and this is why it's so important, because they have to be fair and unbiased in all nature, because they hold the balance of life and death. With every stroke of the pen, they can resurrect or they can end someone's life legally just by, mishandling their job or doing their job properly. So we've got the Fool card here, which represents, moving swiftly, okay? Rushing through something, taking a leap of faith, and now feeling betrayed. So this feels like buyer's remorse. Like, he's getting to a certain point to where it's like, this was a great thing while it was happening. It was great to add another win to my career, but now I got to think about how this is going to affect me for the long run. Yeah. And like, however you got into this situation, this was supposed to be an in and out, shut and close case. The Knight of Wands is straight in and out. Doesn't last long. 8 of Swords, that represents being locked up. So this was supposed to be an open and closed case. This was it. It was over. It was nothing else to see here. We're celebrating, go home, but then the hangman comes, and here it is. It puts all types of heavy weight on all of the people who were on the side of the prosecution, because now it's like, wait a minute, this is turning around. This is not supposed to be turning around. So now, here it is. Everybody's waiting to see what this offer is going to be with this sentence, right? The Eight of Swords. And you've got Chariot to the Wheel of Fortune. So it looks like this is going to go to the appellate court, and there's a strong possibility that they're going to receive a retrial. This is going to move forward. It may take a little time, but it's going to move forward. And you got the Wounded Warrior. Remember I said it's going to take time. So the Wounded Warrior, you know, fights and fights and fights over and over and over again. This is the energy of get knocked down 9 and get up 10. So they end up persevering because they don't stop. They keep on going. They keep on until they find what works. And eventually they have a breakthrough. And when they have that breakthrough, now they can come through and argue the case. And they can argue the case aggressively. And there it is. Everything proceeds. So I do see Crystal Morgan and Jose Baez pushing through, even through the red tape, the difficulties. Once they get through the initial red tape, they're going to take this one all the way through. This is going to be a very interesting watch to see how this works, because, yeah, when I tell you, I never thought I would see this much anxiety around a prosecutor. The prosecutor is like jittery. Of course, like I said, he's strong before everyone, you know, in his public persona and the way that he's seen, you know, going about his day, business as usual, no big deal. We'll see what happens, you know. Okay, well, let me render my response. We'll see what happens. But behind closed doors, it feels like a lot of jittery type energy that is bouncing off the walls and just nervous in anticipation of what's to come, because it feels like this was not supposed to happen. This is like the glitch in the matrix. This is the, you know, situation where, you know, 1 out of every 1 million needles that gets found in a haystack actually gets found. So we'll have to stay tuned, but I do see that Crystal Morgan and Jose Baez, I hope I'm saying that right. My apologies. I do see that they're a great team. They're a great team. 2 very sharp thinkers, 2 progressive thinkers. But if I have to, you know, say the one that I see that shines in this team just overall, it's Crystal. Both of them bounce off each other great. They have a great synergy. But there's something about what she brings to this that ties everything together, and it makes it a winning combination. So this is my energetic pull, and tap in on the energy around unite the people and the legal team that is representing Tory Lanez, better known to his family as Daystar Peterson, also known as Tory Lanez to us. This is going to be an interesting watch. Either way it goes, this is going to go down in history. And yeah, I really see that, this team is going to push to really get to the bottom of things. And there's going to be some very, very, very interesting things that are going to come out. And people are going to be wowed when they see how this plays out when it's all said and done, because they are a very resourceful team and they have a very keen sense of awareness in how to research. But I'll end it here, and I thank y'all for your viewership. See you next time. This reading is adjourned.